Sorry, I'm doing some electronic while we're talking. God damn it. Okay. Let's not electrocute myself. That would make for a good recording if I electrocuted myself on while we were doing this, though. I'd get some viewers. All right, everybody, welcome to another bourbon show. Tonight we are going to be enjoying a product from a distillery that we have never featured on the show yet, which is really sad because this is our we're in our upper 20s now, and this is a huge distillery that we have never featured before, and we recognized it, and we're making things right. So tonight we're going to be drinking some Four Roses. Specifically, we're going to be drinking Four Roses Small Batch Select. Before we do anything else, let's hear it, Stephen. Let's trash the label.
Well, there's going to be no label trashing on this episode because I think that Four Roses, particularly the Small Batch Select, is a phenomenal label. I think that I love the little cutout. I love the sort of the outline of the label itself, sort of that torn piece of paper. I love the how it makes space for the glass, sort of shaping or the etching, and I'm going to be giving it a 9 out of 10. This one is right up there with Weller, with one of my favorite labels, actually.
Wow. So ties with the Weller labels, huh?
Yeah, one of the best so far. I think it's a great looking label.
Okay.
And it's a great shape to the bottle and everything. I think it really stands out on the shelf. It looks really nice, but it's not overly flashy either. It's just a really nice looking bottle.
I mean, it's also not centered. Does that matter?
No, not to me.
Okay. Like this one got printed just a little bit off center.
No, I mean, not to me. I like being off center is not a huge deal to me at all. Not a big deal breaker. I gave the bullet a pretty high mark, and I mean that's just kind of slapped on there. So
yeah, okay, all right, fair enough. So you like the Four Roses Small Batch Select label?
I do. Yeah, I think it's a really good looking bottle, and I think it really stands out. And to me, this bottle in particular is right up there with. Not to the same extent, but it's pretty close to something like a Maker's Mark, where I think it's it really stands out in your mind after having seen it. Maker's Mark, obviously, for the red wax, but I think it really sticks with you when you see it on the shelf.
Okay, all right, very cool. Well, I'm glad to hear we've got one that you like. So Four Roses Small Batch Select. Four Roses is a very, very neat company. And I'm not going to get too geeky. I'm just going to go over a little bit of stuff. Specifically, the Four Roses Small Batch Select is 104 proof. There is no age statement on it, but it uses two different mash bills blended together. One mash bill is 75% corn, 20% rye, 5% barley. The other mash bill is 60% corn, 35% rye, and still 5% malted barley. But Four Roses, what is kind of neat about them is they have two different mash bills, the ones I just noted. But then they have five different yeast strains that they use. So that gives them a total of 10 different variations on their products. And they all have a different, what's it even called? A code, if you will, identifying what you're drinking. They all start with O, that identifies the Four Roses distillery. And then the next letter designates the mash bill. It's either, I got some notes here because I don't remember it off the top of my head. It's either E or B. And then next is S to identify that it's a straight bourbon. So we know it's been at least aged at least 2 years. And then the last letter in their code is which yeast strain it is using. So that's either V, K, O, Q, or F. And each of those yeast strains provides a different note to the bourbon. Small Batch Select specifically uses 6 different variations on those 2 mash bills and 5 yeasts. It uses OBSV, OBSK, OBSF, OESV, OESK, and OESF.
Easy for you to say, huh?
Yeah, easy for me to say when I've got some notes here for it. But here's the thing. So Four Roses, like one of the things I do like about Four Roses is they recognize how important the yeast is to the bourbon. And for years and years and years, everybody focused almost solely on the mash bill, like the grain combination that they use. And Four Roses was one of the first ones that were like, well, you guys are missing the bill here. That yeast plays a huge part. Like what yeast you use has a huge part in what that bourbon tastes like overall. And they really took ownership of that and said, matter of fact, we're going to show you. And so you've got like, if you find single barrels, it'll say right there on the label which one it is. And you, as a consumer, you're going to find some that you just absolutely, truly, truly love. You're going to find some that you do absolutely do not, and it's based more so on the yeast that barrel produced than anything else. So,
And I was very excited, like I was telling you before we started recording, Dan. I was excited to do this episode and try out Four Roses for the first time after several years, because years ago, I at a barbecue place locally, I did a bourbon flight. Four Roses was a part of that, and Four Roses was my least favorite one
mm-hmm.
of the flight. And I don't remember which of the Four Roses that I had. I don't think it was this, but I'm not sure. And I'm just curious though what I'll think of this tonight, because I've basically, for no good reason, after that night, sworn off having them again based
Mm-hmm.
on that. And I'm kind of curious now if it's something that I actually didn't like about this, or maybe knowing less about bourbon at that time. I wonder if if this was just a higher proof bourbon that was on there, and it just like it kind of stuck out. It was a little sharper than some of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time I was like, oh, I don't like it as much. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
So I will say a couple things I want to say about Four Roses. Number one, Four Roses is not high on my list of distilleries I like. I have never had. Let me rephrase this. It's rare that I have a pour of Four Roses and I'm like, wow, I really, really, really love this bourbon. It's happened a couple times, but it's very rare. Small Batch Select, I really like it a lot, but I've had this bottle for probably a year, and you see that I'm still only halfway through it, and that's in
after you gave us.
and yeah, in 6 ounces of it, 8 ounces of it went to you two, right? So like you can see that it's not one that I grab all that often. Um, but I do want to say that their bottom shelf yellow, like Four Roses yellow label $18 bottle is one of the best budget bottles you're going to find. It is an excellent budget bottle. And okay, so this bottle is $50 to $55. Um, if I don't really love something, I'm not gonna keep replacing a $55 bottle, right? And I've got a lot of other stuff in that $50 to $55 range that I prefer over this, so it kind of sits there. Um, Again, not saying anything bad about it. It's just that in that price range, there's other stuff that I enjoy more. So, Ryan, what's your experience with Four Roses?
You know, I forgot I have had it maybe once or twice. There was a whiskey festival up here called the Whiskey X Festival. And you know, they had like bourbon barreled wines too, a bunch of shit. And they had Maker's Mark there, and apparently they make their own donuts too at whiskey events. So they had really good donuts. And right next to it was Four Roses. So I drunkenly tasted a few different ones.
Yeah.
And I don't remember anything about any of them. So
okay.
yeah. So that's my
okay.
experience. But
yeah.
they seemed like good people, and the line was very long. I remember it
Yeah.
was longer than the Maker's line.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like,
no,
I'm not going to wait in this.
People,
I'm going to go get more donuts. That's what I said.
Four Roses is a very, very, very beloved distillery. There are people that go absolutely and I understand that. I understand why people do taste it and absolutely love it. It's just not. I'm not amongst them. But I recognize that they have good taste, and that just fits their taste profile really well. And it seems to me like wine drinkers. I don't know why, but it seems to me like wine drinkers tend to really like Four Roses products, and I don't know why. I'm not a wine drinker. You think so?
It's just the name. Yeah, it's a placebo effect. It's the name. I don't know. I think that the name itself, Four Roses, I don't know. I think and I've heard. I guess we should mention. I like the story behind it. I read like the little story about the Four Roses Distillery. I don't remember much of it. Maybe you remember some of it offhand, Dan. But it's a kind of a neat little story. It's something about like courting the daughter of some king or something like that. And she would bring four roses or something like that to signify she accepted the proposal, something like that along those lines. And I thought that was a cool story. Stuck with me. But if you don't know that story or you don't go out of your way to look it up and you just see that kind of on the shelf, I think it can be kind of a polarizing sort of name, because we talked before with Bourbon and Blondes about, sort of women in bourbon. And I don't know, I think that names like Bullet tend to like stick out more for like a more masculine crowd, or High West, or, just some of those names where
Smoke
it's more
Wagon.
like Jesse James, like all the classics, right? But it's just a less masculine name, I think. So
yeah. I do know for a fact that Four Roses has a customer loyalty program that's called Mellow Moments. And if you are able to join the Mellow Moments club, you fucking do it, right? Like it's open, like I think it's quarterly, like the first day of the month of every new quarter is when you either like lose your membership or gain your membership. And like it fills up instantly. And I do mean instantly. If you're not like, if you don't have a good internet connection, you're fucked. But people flip shit trying to join Mellow Moments. So anyway, that's all Four Roses. What do you say we try it out? Find out what we think.
Cheers.
Cheers.
On the nose, this smells almost identical to me as the double oaked, the Woodford Reserve double oaked.
Really?
On the nose.
I guess I can kind of see that. Now I do. You know what? It's important that we mention this. This is the first time, I think, maybe second time, but for the next few episodes, for the most part, we are all going to be drinking not only the same bourbon, but from the exact same bottle.
Yes.
Ryan and I worked out a process for me to get him what we're drinking. So it expands our ability to pick things that we want to pick. And not only that, but it also ensures that we're all drinking as close to the same thing as possible. Now, one thing that's interesting, Stephen, is that this is a full 14 proof points higher than the Woodford Double Oaked. That's 7% more alcohol. That's a significant jump.
I think there is more burn on the nose.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think that it has that quality that I said before, where like, I remember saying during the double oaked episode, there's a little mustard seed smell almost that I got at the end, just a faint hint of mustard seed. And I can get that here a little bit.
Okay. It's been a minute since I had this. And I like this a lot more than the last time I had it. I got to admit that. And I've tried it periodically, obviously, over the year and a half or year that I've had the bottle, but
this is so peppery and oaky, I feel like, to drink.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what I get the most.
Pepper and oak. And see, I get a little bit of pepper, but I don't get like any oak.
Maybe it's just the burn that I'm tasting then.
That I can believe. Yeah. That I can believe.
Yeah, it's very harsh.
It definitely kicks you in the teeth, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know that you're drinking a high proof bourbon.
Oh yeah.
But it's like really complex is the thing that I pull out of it, right? Like I'm picking up vanilla and caramel that you get from everything. But I'm getting cinnamon. I'm getting like just different layers of flavors depending on which part of the tongue it's hitting.
It's a strong finish. It's really sticks with you. Like I took like 2 decent sized drinks just now, and I mean it's almost like a
hair
shot of
on your
Jaeger.
chest.
Yeah, it's almost like a shot of Jaeger in the back of my throat. It's like I can feel it going down. And it, to me, the finish, the burn is it's definitely prevalent, but the other thing that's prevalent, which I don't like that much, is this cough syrupy, like sort of oily texture in my mouth almost, and flavor.
Yeah. It's got a thick mouthfeel to it, right? Like it feels thick.
Yeah, it does.
You like that thick feel in your mouth, Ryan?
I do.
Yeah, I don't mind the burn. It's a pleasant overall drinking experience, I think. Mm-hmm. But I don't like that cherry cough syrupy taste that I'm finishing with.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, for sure.
Yeah, so I've been pushing for us to try Four Roses for, God, I'm not shitting you, like 2 months now. Yeah, probably at least 2 months.
It just took you giving us half your bottle to finally do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And part of that is like I wanted to make sure that we pay respect to Four Roses. Like they're a huge distiller with massive numbers of fans. So it only makes sense that we should drink them on the show, right? Like, and I had a glass of this a couple weeks ago. And I remember specifically that after having a couple glasses of it, I needed to take some Tums, right? Like, I remember drinking it and being like, yeah, this is not great, but it's pretty good. But then by the end of the night, after like 2 or 3 glasses of it, small glasses, I was like, yeah, I'm going to need to take a Tums. And I feel like I'm probably still going to have to, but I'm definitely enjoying the flavor more tonight than I did the night before. And part of that speaks to, once again, how like what you had for lunch changes the way bourbon tastes. What you had for dinner changes it. Your atmosphere, all those types of things make a difference. Not just with bourbon, but with tequila, vodka, all of that shit. But I definitely enjoy this more than I did the other evening. I'm recognizing a lot of the complexity that I didn't notice a couple weeks ago.
I have to go off track. Steven, did you move out or move in?
Move out or move in? Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Your camera is just way better. Did you get a new webcam?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So I got a new webcam. And by the way, I mean, Jesus, the webcams have come a long way in the last decade. I'll say that much. Because I bought that last webcam probably, I'm thinking around like 2008 or so. And
it was seriously 13 years old.
Yeah. So here it is right here. I'll show you this is the old webcam. This is what was sitting up there.
Oh, wow.
Right here. So it's a Logitech Right Light technology. Well, I guess it doesn't say exactly the brand, but this like old ball.
Yeah.
One that had this little privacy screen up here. So yeah, I bought this in probably like 2008 or something. And like that back when like instant messenger was a thing. And then I've just, that's the only one I've had for years because I have a desktop computer instead of I've got like a work laptop or whatever, but I haven't had an integrated webcam. So I've just been using that. And it was literally a standard def, and you guys would watch me with like a bunch of dead pixels and shit were on the screen all the time.
Uh-huh.
So now that you can see the wide angle, obviously, yeah, there's a bunch of boxes that have been here the entire time. As Jesse and I are impending a move at some point in the next few months. So we're moving out, first of all. But yeah, welcome to the entire room instead of like this 4x3 box from 2008.
So basically you were using your old webcam to chat on AOL and
yeah, that was like, it was like MSN Messenger, like that kind of stuff in like
ASL.
high school.
Yeah, what's your ASL? Is that what the kids said? Is that
Oh
what
yeah,
that
age,
was?
sex, location. That's
Yeah.
right.
I think Skype was big in 2008, wasn't it? 2009? Is that when Skype got big?
Skype was probably in use, but like I didn't use it. I don't know. I didn't know anybody in high school using Skype at that time. It's probably more common now because high school is through Zoom and Skype and all that stuff. But at the time, it was just like I remember, yeah, MSN Messenger was definitely a thing, and that was like what all my school was on. But I think it probably varied by what school you were going to at that time, and then of course
So
just different chat rooms.
Centralia High was all about MSN.
Yeah,
Or
MSN Messenger.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you had Yahoo Messenger, which is, I mean, that was probably like that's probably like Roxana kids or something. I don't even know who was on Yahoo Messenger. Pity to those kids.
What were
Very
you guys
trashy,
on up in
very
Bloomington?
trashy town. Skyward or something? I don't know.
Skyward?
What are you fucking talking about, dude?
What are you talking about? Do you have like an email? You guys have your own email?
Like, what would you guys use to like talk with online?
We didn't.
Okay.
You didn't?
I guess that answers
No,
that
there was
question.
no like when I got to college, I was like Blackboard. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Blackboard. No, we're not talking about like schoolwork. We're talking about like just.
Oh, are you talking about like chatting with friends?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I never used MSN. I don't know anyone who did. I mean, there was AIM, but I feel like that shit ended in high school or in junior high.
Mm-hmm.
I remember AIM being on my phone, and I just texted in Facebook. I didn't do any of that messaging shit.
Was there texting in? I guess there was texting in 2008.
Yeah.
When did texting start?
I think you're right.
I got an iPhone in like 2000. I was like the first person in my friend group to get an iPhone. I remember.
I think you're right. And like 2008 was like right around the time where it was kind of like dying off to use like messengers and stuff, because I think it started becoming like people had text, but it was like during that little period of time where people didn't have, like, people were still texting each other by like pressing like three times for like
T9
F or
T9. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, before we had like true texting and they started getting like keyboards on the phones, like Blackberries and stuff, then I think AIM and MSN had died out.
Well, I remember getting a cell phone, before the iPhone, I had some, Verizon flip phone, and I would go on AIM and talk to my friends that way because I'm like, oh, I only get like 600 text messages a month. This is instant messaging. This isn't a text.
Oh, so little did I know. Say fucking AIM when we asked a minute ago what you used.
Because I used it for a very small time I thought we were talking about 2008. Well, Verizon made instant messaging also text messages. So my dad's like, this feels like $500 more than it usually is.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, sorry, dude.
You're just like, sorry, Dad, we're changing the way we communicate as a species.
Yeah.
This is a cultural shift, Dad. Come on.
Speaking of which, let me see how my GME's doing right now.
Yeah, are you a millionaire yet, Steven?
No, but ask me again next week. Right now, let me just show you, without showing you any numbers or figures on the podcast, I'll just look at this graph.
Steven is a financial advisor, by the way, so
just tanking.
I just wish you motherfuckers would have texted me first. I am technically like on the cusp of Gen X millennial. I am like the true Zennial, as they call us.
So you'll throw either generation under the bus and separate yourself from them at will.
No. I absolutely consider myself to be much more of a millennial than I do a Gen Xer. I was the first person I knew that had like my own computer. I had the internet when I was 15 years old. Now realize that was 1993. And like, I didn't have, like, AOL was not in existence yet. And I had the internet. I knew how to hack computers and to get into other people's computers in 2000 or in like 1994 timeframe.
I bet it was still called ARPANET back then.
You had to know the IP address for a computer, and like there was no like Like there was no skill required to get into other people's computers at that time.
Yeah.
But because of that, I am fully on board with being a millennial. And my wife is 12 years younger than me. She's a millennial, and you two were in my wedding, and you're millennials. So I just think it's fucked up that you didn't let me know that I could have made a whole bunch of money off of GameStop, and instead I invested $36 in Naked, the Naked food brand. But yeah, that $36 is not doing well.
We tried to let you know about the GameStop stuff. You didn't get the MSN Messenger chat.
Oh, sick burn. How you guys enjoying this? I figure we should talk about bourbon a little bit. I don't know.
This is going to be a tough score for me.
Will it?
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to drink, which is fine.
Oh, you really?
Yeah. It's just so strong. You know, I've had like and I'm not comparing Taylor like foolproof to this because I've had it a couple times, but you drink that and it hits you, but it's still smooth and you can still enjoy it even straight. I feel like this hits harder. It's just harder to drink for me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the peppery spice. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, I wasn't asking like
it's not terrible. It's not terrible. No, it's not. I mean, maybe it'll be where like you, Dan, the more you drink it, you'll appreciate it a little more. But yeah, right now I don't hate it by any means.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know where to place it either, Steven.
Do we want to rate it or do we want to bullshit some more and then rate it?
I say we give it a rating. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's give it a rating.
Okay. Why don't I start? Since you guys like, I don't think it's easy to rate either. But I'm going to say, let's put it this way. If I'm going to enjoy this, I want it to be my first bourbon of the night because I want to make sure that I'm sober when I'm enjoying it because it's so complex to appreciate it. I want to pay attention. I want to pay attention to what I'm drinking and do my best to coherently enjoy it, right? Like it is strong. It's got a strong flavor to it. But I want like what makes this bottle special is the complexity. And in order to enjoy that complexity, I need to be sober at least when I start. Not when I finish, but when I start. So I don't want this to be my third or fourth pour or even second pour. I want it to be my first pour. And it was my first pour tonight. It will not be my second pour tonight. But my first pour, I'm going to give it a 6-7.
Okay. I think that I think the word to use is complex, like you said, Dan. I think that is the word to use. But I think that sometimes complex things can be annoying or like sort of aggravating, right?
Sure.
So I think that's sort of the way I go with it is it's almost a little too complex. I think I said something similar for the Sazerac Rye where I like it. I would probably buy a bottle of this. Not something I would keep in stock, but I would buy a bottle of this. But there's only particular moods I'm going to be in to drink it, just because I don't know if I'll have the patience, if you will, to drink it some nights. So I'm going to be giving this guy a 5.8. And I say that still saying that I would buy a $50 bottle of this, $50+ bottle of this, because it's something I enjoy it as a whole. I'm not panning it. I like it more than just your average, 5.0 Jim Beam White Label, that kind of thing. But the window with which I would drink it in is pretty narrow.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you're talking about, Dan. So for me, I can't give it into that 6 range where I like it significantly more than just your average bourbon. But I do want to give it credit for being more complex and for having a nice long finish, even if I didn't like some aspects of that finish, like the cough syrupiness to it. So yeah, 5.8 for me.
Okay. Ryan, you're up.
Yeah, it's definitely spicier going down. You kind of compared it to like wine. You said a lot of wine drinkers like Four Roses.
Well, I said that it
Not
seems to me.
it
It seems
seems
to
to you.
me that a lot of wine drinkers enjoy Four Roses.
Yeah, and I can definitely. I mean, there's kind of that. I don't want to say like it tastes like leather. Because like I hate when people say that, but it's very thick, cough syrupy. It's very dry. I feel like when you go down, and maybe Cab or Merlot drinkers would like something like this, just something that's drier, maybe some stone fruit that you can taste on the back end. Very complex. I'd have to drink it more to, I feel like, appreciate it. So I'm going to give it a 6.2. It's not the worst thing I ever drank, but I'm just indifferent on it overall.
Yeah.
I wish it gave me a little more. It's so strong going down that I really I get like a lot of ethanol and a strong alcohol taste.
Yeah.
And I don't really get much of the flavors other than
just kind of overwhelmed by that.
I'm definitely overwhelmed by it. And like I said, maybe I get a different bottle of it and it has a different taste. But
well, the small batch select is pretty much all going to be almost identical.
Yeah. What about like the single barrel? Is it vastly different?
I mean, of course, depends on which single barrel you're getting too, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't like. I've got a single barrel upstairs. I don't remember which combination it is right now. But I will say that it's pleasant. I feel like people who like Four Roses, they really go for the single barrel strength. Like that's their, like they're happy to when they can score one of those, which isn't uncommon in the bourbon world right now, right? Like people really seek that single barrel, especially barrel strength whiskey. But yeah, it just depends on. I mean, that's the thing with Four Roses. They've got like their 2 mash bills and 5 different yeasts.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like it's too much? It's too much. I feel like that's kind of like it gives them. Oh well, if you don't like this one, it's definitely a selling tactic to try
get them to people to try multiple ones.
But it kind of also cheapens the brand. I feel like by it, like if you know what's good, make what's good. And I know that's broad because everyone likes different things, but
it's almost like you're pandering. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like it's like, well, if they don't like this one, they could always try this one. And I feel like they might not be good at one thing, like really, really good. So they branch out and they do what you said to appeal to a master audience, which I kind of think takes the brand recognition away. Like I was expecting a lot from this brand, just sitting on the shelf. It's a beautiful bottle. The advertising is great. The marketing's great. And I was just expecting more, and it didn't really deliver for me.
Yeah. All right. So folks, look, today is February 1st. You're not listening to this until probably the 15th of February. So you probably already know this. But we have an update on Dustin Diamond. Unfortunately, and I mean that seriously, Dustin Diamond has passed away. He passed away earlier today. At least it was reported earlier today that Dustin Diamond passed away from lung cancer. If you've listened to the show, you know that we've tried to have him on the show in the past. It didn't work out, and now we know the likely reason why we weren't able to have him on the show. He was sick, and it was not public knowledge. So when I was texting him, he was either getting them. Like there's a chance that, well, I can confidently say the last taint he ever saw in his life was mine. Right? Like that's fucked up. But yeah, the chances that he saw a different human being's taint after mine is very slim.
He was not saved by the taint.
He was not saved by the taint. But no, to be honest here, yeah, it's a very sad situation. We're sad to hear about the passing of Dustin Diamond. I wish nothing but the best for his family. And sorry, bro. Sorry, dude. Hate the fact that you passed away. Shitty situation. Ryan, Steven, got anything you want to say?
Wait. Right?
Huh?
You broke up.
I did?
No, Ryan did.
Oh.
I mean, am I broken up?
You were broken up, yeah.
Breaking up. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
It was me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This goddamn that might have been Dustin Diamond saying his final goodbye to us right there.
That might have been
it. Yeah, it's sad. I grew up watching it on syndication. You know, I was like, hey, there's Screech, and I always wanted to have Screech on, but maybe when we're all dead in heaven, we could all have Screech on someday, right?
There you go.
Yeah. I mean,
Cheers.
I'm gonna miss him just because I didn't necessarily grow up watching him or anything like that, but I loved having the Dustin Diamond segment, and I loved having just the idea of having him on. It was nothing really about him necessarily, other than we had so many mutual connections between us and him. But it was really just, he was the epitome of just like a sort of D-list celebrity that maybe we would actually be able to get on. And that was kind of funny, and I'll miss that being around. And you know, it's obviously a sad situation. You never want to see this happen to anybody. So
my mom and brother are like, don't you guys feel bad? I'm like, well, we didn't know what was going on.
Also, what did we do?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We were trying to give him a business opportunity.
Yeah. No, and like, all kidding aside, like, we didn't give him cancer, right? Like, we had no knowledge. Like, the moment we found out on the show, you can go back and listen. The moment we found out that he legitimately had an illness, we flipped the script immediately, and we're just like, whoa, wait a second. Sorry to hear about this. So do I feel bad about it? Not even one small bit. Not even kind of.
It was weird, this whole thing. Like, him announcing he had cancer, I think, was like on a Monday, wasn't it? Like, we found out
like
the
2
day
weeks
we were
ago.
recording.
Yeah.
It was like
and
2
then
weeks
the day
ago.
he dies, you know, we were gonna start
He's
recording.
trying to fuck up our recording schedule is what he's doing. He's just like,
it's kind of a dick move. It's kind of a dick move.
You know what, Dan?
I just hope we don't have like any celebrity we want on. You know, we kind of start this like then that person dies.
I don't know. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like, if I'm being honest here, that'd be kind of neat.
Like we're like the poltergeist of podcast.
Dan, I guess you ought to text Dustin and just be like, never mind.
That was funny. That fucked me up, Steven. So no, seriously, got any left, Steven?
I do have a little bit left.
Ryan, you got any left? So cheers to Dustin Diamond. I'm personally going to be pouring some on the ground when it's daylight hours, and we'll try to get that in the. But anyway, cheers, Dustin. Best of luck to you, brother. Here's to you, Dustin. No Game of Thrones. Let's be honest here.
I will never watch that show. I will never watch it because everyone, the last season was apparently just so bad and universally hated by everybody. Where I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time. You don't remember the backlash to that? Come on.
No, I do.
People were pissed. I'm like, fuck that.
But I think that people are also generally really dumb. Like, broadly speaking.
I heard it was a very dumb ending, though.
It was an unexpected. It was unexpected. Weren't people pissed about the Sopranos ending?
Well, yeah, but that's not the point. That's not the point.